So I made a video a couple months ago talking about the Indiana Pacers and how they have a bright future, they have a underrated young core. But I guess the future is now because they're playing a good, fun brand of basketball. Not only that, but they're also fifth in the East with a 9-6 record. And in their last 10 games, they won 8 of those. Big games against Brooklyn, New Orleans, Miami. They've been impressive this year. I mean, when I was making this video, I was like, they got good young pieces. Tyrese Haliburton, Bennedict Mathurin. They're going to be in the lottery again. They might get Victor. But right now, it looks like they're really competing to be in the playoffs. When we just look at offensive rating wise and defensive rating wise, they're 8th in offensive rating. That's good to see. And especially with their pace, they're 2nd in the league in pace. That starts with Tyrese initiating the offense, pushing it. They attempt the 3rd most threes in the league per game too as well. When you combine that with their turnover ratio at 24th, that's good, because when you're playing with so many possessions and you're not turning the ball over that much, they're playing fun, but also they're smart. Offensive rating, offensive side, they're good. Defensive rating, they're at 21st. Still got to get better at that end. I mean, they have Myles Turner, Aaron Nesmith. They're not a defensive team, though. They got to get better in that end. But when we talk about the team, when we start at the top, Mr. Tyrese Haliburton, he has emerged to me as one of my favorite players in the league. And he's becoming, if he wasn't already, he's one of the best young players already. Because we can talk about the stats. What? He's averaging 20.6 points, 10.5 assists, which is leading the league. The second most is Trae Young at 9.5. So the margin is 1 assist. When we look at the shooting too, shooting very efficiently. 49, 40, 85 splits. The true shooting is 62%, which is 3rd amongst guards behind Steph Curry and his former teammate, De'Aaron Fox. Impressive year. Also, Tyrese is tied for 2nd most double-doubles this year at 9. And all the players besides Tyrese on the list in the top 10 are all big men. That just shows you how impressive his game is this year. And all these big men are doing double-doubles with points and rebounds. Tyrese, on the other hand, is doing his double-doubles with points and assists. I was watching last night when they played against the Magic. He had a casual 22, 14 assist game. I mean, he's fun to watch. He is, like I said, emerging as one of my favorite players, but I can legitimately say that someday he's going to be a top 5, top 10 player in the league. I mean, he has that star factor. Obviously, the stats, he's effective, he's efficient, but the way he's passing the ball, he's looking like Magic Johnson, going around the waist, no looks. He's having half-court shots. He had one last night. He has those step-back threes, far threes, get into lane. He's having fun out there. I know there's the Stephs, there's the Jaws, Darius Garlands. They're in their own tier. They're stars already. But Tyrese Haliburton, he's on his way, because he's fun to watch. This Pacer team in general is fun to watch. Starting with him, they're a top league pass team. When my favorite teams aren't playing, like the Warriors, the Blazers, Indiana's right there. I got to go check them out because they're playing some good basketball. I mean, going back to the Orlando game, shout out to Aaron Nesmith. Finally getting the opportunity. I know we're kind of off track. I'm going to talk about him later, but finally getting the opportunity. Had 19 points, 5 threes, 2 clutch free throws at the end, and he was safe after that post-game interview. But no, like I said, Tyrese Haliburton, I'm glad to see him in that role where he has the ball in his hands the most. If I was the Kings, I would have kept Tyrese Haliburton, but at the end of the day, as an NBA fan, you want to see them separated, because look at them now that they're separated. De'Aaron Fox, he's handling the ball all the time over there, looking like an all-star. Tyrese Haliburton is handling the ball all the time in Indiana, and he's looking like an all-star. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the all-star team this year. I haven't really compared him amongst the other East guards, but from the eye test, he's looking like an all-star to me this year already. And going back to that, looking at the usage rating, in Sacramento, he was at 18. Not usage rating, usage rate. He was at 18%. Now in Indiana, he's at 23.5%. This is their most fun start they had since, Paul George, Victor Oladipo when he was there, when he was healthy. Indiana, you got to take care of Tyrese Haliburton. Bennedict Mathurin, the next star of their team. I mean, having a great year already. Came into his first game, his first week, second week, looking like he belonged already. He would be Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for Paolo. I mean, Paolo is Paolo. He's playing great. Benedict Mathurin is second in my eyes, and I'm pretty sure in most people's eyes. But he's first and sixth man of the year. I mean, he's averaging 19 points, 3.9 rebounds on good efficiency, 44, 43, 83 splits, 60% true shooting. It's been very impressive. I mean, he's leading all players off the bench in total points scored. Sixth man of the year. Book it. Put your money on it. Go to Vegas. Benedict Mathurin, like I said, he's fun to watch. He's having a lot of pull-up threes, getting to the rack, and it's very impressive too because he looks like he's seasoned, looks like a veteran. Like what I usually say, what I usually see is when scorers who are rookies who go into the league, it takes a minute for them to adjust, to get comfortable, find their spots in the league, but it was effortless for him. Like I said, he's not only scoring 19 points, but he's shooting efficiently. And what's also impressive is just the free throw attempts. He's getting to the line, especially as a guard, a rookie guard. You're not going to get those calls. I mean, I was listening to Tyrese Haliburton in the JJ Redick podcast and about how that's what's been most impressive about him, about Bennedict Mathurin, and how he's getting to the line with ease. You know, it's a skill. I know people say there's a lot of fouls being called in the league, a lot of free throws, but it's also a skill to get to the line. And Bennedict Mathurin has that. Still needs to get better on the defensive end, but offensively, good slasher, has the flow game, has the pull-up three, has the spot-up three. You know, he's doing more than I thought he would do right away. You know, he's a building block for this team. Let's go down. I mean, these two specific players, you know, they're playing their best basketball, and this is what's got me confused with Indiana. It's Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. That's the difference in them trying to go to the playoffs or them rebuilding. There's always the rumors ever since, you know, Myles Turner has been there. He's been in the trade rumors, but especially this year, Myles Turner and Buddy Hield has been in those trade rumors. But let's just talk about how they're playing and how this team is currently constructed. Buddy Hield's having a great year. No one's talking about it. He's averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, great efficiency, 44, 40, 91 splits, 60% true shooting. I mean, to be honest, we always talk about him like because he's always there with Steph Curry and 3 points made. The percentage wise, it's good. You know, he's one of the best shooters in the league, but we really have to consider him as one of the greatest shooters to touch the rock, because year after year he's showing us that, you know, he's not slowing down. He's always going to be effective from three. He's only 6'4". You know, obviously he's a great 3-point shooter, always has the numbers to back it up, but he can always put the ball on the floor too as well, which is the difference in what opens opportunities for him to shoot more threes and be more than just a spot-up shooter. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but that's my thoughts on Buddy. I like Buddy. He's one of my favorite players too as well, because he's a shooter, man. Shooter connection, man. And Myles Turner, like I said, having his best year in terms of shooting. He's averaging 18 points as well. That's a career high on his best efficiency, shooting 55, 40, 61. I said this in my last video about Indiana Pacers and about Myles Turner, is that he would always lead the league in blocks per game. It's just he doesn't reach the benchmark for it. He doesn't play the minimum amount of games to be eligible. And it's the same this year. Brook Lopez is leading the league at like 2.4 or 2.5 blocks per game. Myles Turner is averaging 3, but he doesn't reach the benchmark yet to be a part of that, you know, blocks per game leaders thing. You know, hopefully we get to see him play because he's been relatively healthy. But yeah, just gotta play more games. So we'll see what happens with Buddy and Myles Turner. Like I said, that's the difference between them rebuilding, really. I've been a fan. You know, I like Jalen Smith. I'm glad, you know, he showed us last year. He was a former lottery pick. Didn't play that much in Phoenix because they're a contending team. Didn't have time to develop him. But now with Indiana, you know, second half of the year last year, played well in that role. This year too, I mean, the shooting, he's shooting like 27% from 3. Still a threat out there. Will still shoot the ball. But he's playing good, averaging like 11 points, 8 rebounds, solid defense as always. You know, I like Jalen Smith. Another player in that same situation as him that I said I would talk about, Aaron Nesmith, another guy that was on a contending team like the Celtics the last 2 years. Now he's in Indiana, you know, getting the opportunity to play. I mean, we saw last game, had a career high in points. You know, he had 5 3-pointers. I think that was his career high in 3 points made and 3 points attempted. You know, Aaron Nesmith has that ability to shoot. he's the successor to Buddy Hield once Buddy Hield leaves. You know, it's fun to see him in this environment where he can play his game because, you know, like I said, there wasn't time for him to develop in Boston. Now he's with Indiana. He's that shooter. In college, he shot 52% in college. You know, that was the main reason why he was lottery picked. And you can say that was just an anomaly year or whatever, but still, I mean, he's a shooter. You know, he plays defense. Fun to see Aaron Nesmith get the opportunity here in Indiana. Andrew Nembhard. I'm surprised by him. I'm not gonna lie, because watching him at Gonzaga, I didn't know if he was an NBA player, and then when he was drafted, I didn't know how he was going to translate into the league. Made me eat my words. I'm sorry, Andrew Nembhard, if you can get this message somehow. I'm sorry for disrespecting you, because he's playing good basketball. He's poised. You know, he doesn't commit that many turnovers. Does what this team needs him to do. Plays defense. Shows you a little offense. He's shooting the ball pretty well too. We didn't really know him as a 3-point shooter in college, but he's shooting the ball pretty well too. Over there, Isaiah Jackson, another good piece for them. You know, a backup center, playing well, averaging a block per game. This Indiana team, they got something cooking. I mean, especially this year. Like I said, they're playing a fun brand of basketball, and not only that, they're winning games. We'll see what happens with Myles Turner and Buddy Hield. Are they going to get traded? You know, because if they do, I believe that's when they start turning and becoming more of a rebuilding team. They're going to start losing games. But as long as they're there, they're going to find ways to win, because especially those two with Myles Turner and Buddy Hield, they're playing good basketball, combined with the Tyrese Haliburton, Bennedict Mathurin, and then, you know, they're all playing good basketball. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Leave a like, subscribe, comment what you guys think. Will Indiana go into this rebuilding direction, or are they going to keep winning, try to make the playoffs? What do you guys think? Like I said before, my first name is Emilio, but my middle name is Lawrence, and I like hoops. If you like hoop, subscribe to it too. Come on. Let's continue to grow the community, man. I appreciate all the love and support you guys show me. You guys interact with me. I interact with you guys back, man. But like I said, man, what did I say? That's all I have for you guys. Until next time, peace.